Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Autism Our Story podcast. Today, I have the opportunity to chat with Maggie and Chase Herndon. Chase is a non-speaker who communicates through pointing to letters on a letterboard. Today, we're going to be talking all about Chase's spelling journey and all the things that he's doing now that he's able to communicate through spelling. Maggie, Chase, thanks so much for joining me today. I am so excited to chat with you. I'm going to give you the opportunity to introduce yourselves, and we'll start from there.
Hi, I'm Maggie Herndon, and this is my son, Chase. You might know him from Instagram as Letters with LC. He's my speller. I'm also a Speller's Method provider. Went through the training last year, so I spell with him daily, but I also see clients and have a business here in Nashville that teach spelling to spellers also.
Yes, amazing. I'm so glad that I'm able to interview you guys. So let's get right into it. I wanted to know, how did you guys find spelling? When did you start spelling?
I do not remember how I even stumbled across the method. At the time, it was just, I think, spelling to communicate, and we did not have anyone locally. I didn't know anyone. I probably found it or saw it somewhere on Facebook in a group. But I found a provider out of Atlanta that was traveling to Nashville, where we live, once a month. So we saw her. I looked back, I think it was June of 21, right in the middle of COVID. So we saw her once or twice. And then with the shutdown, we didn't see her again for a little over a year. And we tried a couple of virtual Zoom sessions, and I had no idea what I was doing. So probably we didn't really get going till maybe October of 22. And that's kind of where I think it really started.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so tell me a little bit about how it was getting started with him, about like the thing that always happens around when parents start spelling is like that mindset shift, when parents sometimes are not presuming competence, and you now realize, wait, my child is actually in there and they can actually spell. And so how was that for you?
Well, I think we always talked to Chase. I won't say we always presumed competence, I guess, in the way that like most people would before they really understand spelling. And we always knew that he was smart. We just didn't really understand like how much he was actually absorbing around him or taking in. And I'll never forget the very first session we had with spelling, and it was a lesson about the solar system. And she was reading all these things and reading the lesson, saying these words that I had never heard in my life. And like she would ask him questions, and I was sitting there going, I just listened to this. I have no idea what the answer is. Clearly my listening comprehension isn't great. But I'll never forget, one of the questions was something, and he spelled out Kuiper belt. And I was like, what? Oh my gosh. That was the moment. I'll never forget the phrase that he spelled out. And I was just like, this is insane. And
yeah. Oh my goodness. And how old was he when you started spelling?
That was probably, 21. He's almost 16. So he was 11, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine your like excitement.
Yeah.
And
I was like, wow, okay, here we go. We're on board.
Yes, that's exciting. And so then how long did it take him to become an open speller?
Oh gosh. Well, that's been a journey. And he is just newly open, probably as in like in the last, I would say 2 to 3 months. So he was open a little bit a couple years ago, and we started realizing, especially when I went through training, that some of the foundations weren't quite there, and his consistency wasn't great, his flow, his accuracy, things like that. So he was able to spell open, but like we always just said, like he's going rogue, and he would just kind of sporadically have these phrases of open spelling, but it wasn't consistent. We just hadn't really, we've had another practitioner he was working with that got trained here in Nashville that was seeing him more regularly before I got trained. And we both went through the spellers training together. And we realized after doing that, we were like, okay, might need to back up and like really work on those foundations first before we just let him keep going rogue, because I wanted to make sure, that he was really accurate and just, there was no influence at all or anything like that. So he was open, but I would say just like in the last 3 months, more like fully open.
Yeah.
It took a lot of work. I mean, I also didn't realize how much it would take as his mom, practicing every single day with him to get to that point. Because prior to me going through the training, and even before that, when he was spelling with Lindsay, my partner here, and the other speller provider, we, he would spell with her once a week, and I would kind of get on the boards, a couple times here and there, and just didn't realize the importance of the daily practice. And it really didn't see anything come to fruition until I committed to it. And he actually was like, I think it was a session maybe a year and a half ago that he spelled openly with Lindsay and was like, my spelling would be better if my mom did it more often with me. And I was like, oh, okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's so important for other parents to hear. Even for me, I've learned that the hard way too. Like I just didn't practice, and my son has been spelling since he was 4, and now he's 7. And because I wasn't practicing at home, nothing came of it. And so just last year is when I started to really, really practice with him, and that's when we also started to see him progress and start to be open with his practitioner. So that is absolutely true and right.
And I think it's something too that, like, I don't know, I mean, you started so much younger, but like for me, in all the years of therapy leading up to this, it was always just kind of like, drop them off, they do their therapy, you bring them home, and there wasn't a whole lot of, maybe with ABA, there was some stuff that we practiced at home, life skills and things like that. But as far as like speech and OT, they never really drilled it in that like you have to practice. And so I think it wasn't in my mindset at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine. But yeah, so we learned, right? We know you got to hear it from him and see like if you practice more, he'd be better. So that's good. So how does it feel, getting to know your son for the first time after so long, now that he's open?
I mean, it has been a roller coaster. It's been, obviously it's amazing. It's a miracle. It's a miracle every day to watch it unfold. And just the things that come, I just wasn't fully prepared for the depth and the level of thought and insight that he has to the world around him that he shares daily. And naively, I had all these questions of like, when he gets open, I'm going to ask him like about this and all these things for years that we've wondered. And I find that when we sit down to spell, he's been locked inside for 15 years. He doesn't want to answer my questions. The level of his level of faith, for one, is so deep, and that's what he wants to share about. He wants to talk about Jesus, and he wants to share the gospel, and he's super passionate about advocating for spelling and wanting to present to Congress. And so when we sit down to spell, and it takes a lot of effort for him to be able to hold on to all these thoughts and get it all out. So he's like, I don't want to answer your silly questions. Like, I want to tell you what's been locked inside of me all these years that I'm dying to share and spread. So
yeah,
it's been amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I feel like that's just really natural, right? You've just been waiting to say all these things, and you just want to, tell the world to say it all. And I love all the posts and everything that he says. It's so profound and just amazing. I always love seeing his posts.
I'm just every day blown away of just deepness and the level of, I don't know, just his spiritual awareness and the depth of it and the things that he just understands. So it's been beautiful to see and to watch and to witness. And just, every day I'm just like, how did God choose me to help be the vessel to share? He's clearly got a purpose and a mission on this earth that he wants to now share. So I feel honored and sometimes unworthy, but I'm like, here's my mission now too, to help him.
Yes. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I just love, seeing you guys spell together and everything that he's able to share, but also knowing that you are also helping him with his mission. He chose, I feel like I've heard this thing where our kids choose us to, and God chooses us to take care of them, but our kids probably go, God, I think that one should be my mom. And then he's like, yeah, she'll be a good one. That's how I like to think.
And I'm kind of always like, I don't know, prior to him being open, I was like, even from day one, when he first got his diagnosis, I was like, we've always had a strong faith, and I've always known like there's a purpose in this journey, and there's a mission, and there's a reason that God gave us this. And I don't know what it is, but every step along the way, we've always just prayed for guidance and like, Lord, show us what your purpose is in this particular season. And I've always known it was something bigger, but now it's very clear, like, this is it. And, he's the voice of, just wanting, I joke, but I'm not joking, really. It's like a little modern day disciple that just wants to spread God's love and share his story and his testimony. And it's, really beautiful to be a part of.
Yes, it really is. It's beautiful to watch for us who are, see. Like, I feel like I saw from when he was starting to be open and just seeing everything come out. I feel like I've been following along. It's just been so beautiful and just absolutely amazing.
I'm like, how is this real life every day? I'm like, it's hard to find balance because it's so exciting and we're wanting to just keep knowing more about him and keep hearing more. But spelling, it's hard. It's tedious. It takes a lot of time to sit down and get these phrases out, sometimes an hour or two. He gets tired. And, we also have another son who has a very busy social life and sports schedule. So, just trying to keep everything in balance and
Yeah, I can totally relate. We have 4 boys, and spelling for us is tough here at home. And I always have to, like, when it was in the summertime, it was easier. My husband would get home at 4:00, take everybody outside, and I'll spell with Kyler for like 30 minutes or 15 or whatever is before the others want to come see me inside. And then my oldest also has a busy hockey, so I can totally relate. And I'm always just trying. I don't practice as much as I would like to. Like, there are days just we don't spell, and I feel like I need to, figure out a way that it will be all the time, every day, to make sure that he's progressing more. But he is, he's open with his practitioner now.
Well, so amazing.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to parents for getting close to open communication and they're, struggling? Because that's one of my
it's hard.
questions.
That I would say, I personally am very much of like a type A control freak. Like, I want to know the why. I want I want to be in control. And I think I was the roadblock that kept us from getting open. And he would, randomly be like, trust yourself or trust my words. Or I think I was having a lot of doubt too of like, is that answer your answer or is that my answer? Like, I think I was so worried about influencing him or him being, reading my mind or, borrowing from me to answer questions, that I was blocking our progress. And I'll never forget, I think it was probably back in the fall, I was like, we went to see Dana, and I was like, I need help. Like, we're this close, but, we tweaked some things with his boards. And then I was like, all right, our goal, we're going to get open by the end of the year. And I think just like even putting a goal like that can hinder you, because then there's an expectation, and then there's pressure, and the emotional energy tied up in that. And so I think it was like a week before the end of the year, and I was finally just like, I'm turning this over to God. I'm letting go of all expectations. We're literally just going to sit down and go through lessons, and we're just going to spell, and I'm going to ask all, because I would even ask the questions that I felt more comfortable with, being like, you read some of those single word open questions and you're like, I can't think of an answer for that, so I'm just not even going to ask it. And I was like, I'm just going to ask them all and let it be what it is. And if he can't answer it, he can't. And if he can, great. And it took a couple weeks, but I think just truly, like, I would sit down every day and just pray, like, Lord, let it be what it is. Your will be done, whatever. Like, I'm letting it go. And I think within like 2 weeks, I'm not even kidding, he was like spelling out sentences, and I was just like, okay. But I think it's truly just letting go of the expectations and the anxiety and just all the emotions that are tied up in it. For me anyway, like wanting to control the outcome and really wanting to push instead of just letting it naturally kind of happen.
Yeah. Thank you. I need that advice. And I'm one of those, like when you said the date, like I keep telling myself, this is the year. So I need to stop that.
It's so hard because you practice, and you're like, and you see, it's the caveat of having social media, like, or I guess there's the good and the bad, and you see all the amazing things happening, but you don't see what's going on behind the scenes, or what it took to get there, or all the emotions, all the tears, all the struggles and things that are happening behind the scenes to get to that point where they're spelling openly. But as I've talked to other parents through the process and on the same similar journey, like they're like, yeah, it's hard and it took a lot of work, and kind of the same thing.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. I know a lot of parents, could use this advice.
I wish someone had told me sooner. Well, I mean, I've connected with other moms since that, but I'm not working with any spellers at the moment that are open. So he's my first one. So it's really, it's been a learning process. And I'm grateful, honestly, to have gone through it with him first. So now I have kind of real life experience. And I know every speller's different, every journey's different, but at least just having a little bit more of awareness to kind of carry over with other spellers I see and just other moms I talk to. Like, I don't know, that's what's carried me through this whole journey, or us, I should say, because connecting with others that are going through similar things is what keeps us going, and not feeling like we're on an island alone, or have somebody that we can just bounce things off of, or vent to, or cry to, or celebrate with, that understand, everything we're doing through.
Yes. Yeah, I found that to be helpful for me too. Last year is the year I was not on Facebook. I didn't know any other spellers. I thought we were the only ones, except for other two moms that I was following. And then I went on Facebook and found all these groups, and that helped me also feel like, okay, you need to get started practicing every day. And also just, hearing people's experiences and like learning from others. And so that's so true. And it's been helpful. I can totally relate.
Yeah. I think this whole spelling revolution over the last year has really amped up, and like the community has grown so much, and the awareness and just the advocacy for it. It's just been really beautiful to be a part of, and to see so many people joining in and pushing for this method of communication, and the right for our kids to be able to do this, and just even all the little like pockets of advocacy that people have, whether it's for schools or for, legislature or just whatever it is. Like everyone kind of has their little thing that they're trying to help push and fight for. And it's awesome because we can't all do it all. So it's been awesome to see.
Yes. Yeah. And I want to just touch on also like the naysayers and the people that are trying to discredit spelling as a viable means of communication. What would you say about that?
Oh, let me see what Chase said. He said, a lot of people think we're not smart, but we are smart. I don't know. I try not to focus too much on the naysayers. I know they're out there. I think for us, just sharing our journey and showing what it looks like and not giving energy to the naysayers is kind of where we kind of focus our energy, because it can bring you down. It's hard. We fought the battle with school for a couple years, and it really does. It's just hard. So I think we're in a good place, and we just try to kind of stay focused on the positive sides of things and just doing what we can and what we can control. Because there's always going to be naysayers out there.
Yes, so true. And I love that perspective. I love how you handle it. I love it. I have, whenever I ask this question, I'm always, waiting to hear, but it's a different perspective and I love it. It's a good one. We should also.
That you have to advocate and fight back. And we definitely have had those moments. I mean, we've pushed to get it, he's advocated for himself to get on boards with his teacher at school, and it's finally happening slowly but surely. Not that he was a naysayer at all. Previous schools might have been, but I think, I just think for us personally, our energy is more well spent just focusing on the positive side of things and not giving.
Yes, that's the best. And sometimes it's the best thing to do. I can relate because I have, like a couple of months ago, I had been feeling just defeated in my advocacy, and because I was in the comments going at it with people and they're ruthless. And on my podcast, in my comments on YouTube, oh my goodness. And so I was just like, I had to take a break from everything and just slowed down. It burned me out.
Yeah. It's an energy.
So I can totally see like that is such a good way to deal with it too. You're protecting, you are focusing. For me, what I ended up realizing is it takes away from my focus on my mission, what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's just kind of like distraction, really. Like the devil just wants you to play here when I'm supposed to be focusing here. So,
Exactly that.
Thank you for sharing that. So we're down to the question for you that I like to ask all parents. What is something that Chase has taught you about life?
Oh, wow. I mean, I think this kind of goes back to even a little bit of what I said as far as getting open with him. Ultimately, I think I'm not in control. I never have been. I never will be. I think if I truly say I'm a Christian, I have to live that daily. And since he's and put full trust in the Lord that this journey is not ours, it's his. And how are we going to glorify him? And I think that's something you always, as a Christian, for me, I've always kind of known that. But then since he's gotten open and the things he's sharing about his faith and just like pray about this, trust in Jesus about that. It's just like a daily reminder every time he spells that like, I'm not in control. This is not my story to tell. And my purpose is so much more than the things I ever thought it was going to be. And it's emotion. It's so emotional. Because the last 3 months have just been like, we've done a 180 of what we ever thought was going to be possible with him spelling open and getting to know him. And it's been a miracle. It's truly like witnessing a miracle every day.
Yeah. I can imagine. And it's just been amazing just watching, like I said, seeing you guys, you've been sharing we've seen it happen also. And whenever I see his posts, I just feel so much joy and and it gives me so much hope. And it is like watching a miracle happen. I'm so thankful that you share your journey, his journey, and it's helping a lot of people. I know it. And
it's hard to put, I don't love being camera facing, and it's hard, like, I don't know. I don't love public speaking. I'm kind of a more behind the scenes fighter. And so it's been a bit of a test to just be vulnerable and put yourself out there and, or put him out there, because there's always that fear that, of the naysayers. And I am thankful that we started sharing prior to him getting open so that people could see the progression and see that like this didn't just happen overnight, and that it's happening in real time.
Yes. I think that's one of the things that I appreciate about your journey. It really is special like that because I saw it from you guys, practicing every day. And, once you were sharing, like we saw it happen, and I feel like it's necessary. It's important for people to see that. Both the people that don't have spellers are not even in this journey, walking this journey with us, and for people that are walking the journey to see it, because it can be, it's encouraging, and it's also helping others, learn about spellers and how they communicate and what it takes. So I'm so thankful for you guys doing that.
Thank you.
All right. So now we're on your portion of this interview, Chase. And I had sent you some questions, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say. So I'll just be reading the question, and then you can read them for him, the answer. So the first one is, how has spelling impacted your quality of life?
So he said, getting to spell has changed my life in ways I can't describe.
Wow. Beautiful. And just so happy that you now have the opportunity to share your thoughts with the world and share about God, about Jesus, and just be the amazing missionary that you are and serve your purpose here. I'm so thankful. All right, the next question is, what would you say is the biggest misconception about non-speakers with autism?
So he said, very happy to share my thoughts that suspicions aren't true. And I said, well, what are your suspicions? And he said that non-speakers aren't smart. People are not sure about spelling. Make them understand that listening doesn't have a look.
Absolutely. I love that so much. And it's so true. Yeah. It's important for people to know of that, and that listening does not have a look. We've been conditioned to think that somebody's listening is because they're looking at us, or if they're not looking, they're not listening.
Right.
That's absolutely not true. And they're here to, teach us that and teach the world that. Thank you so much, Chase, for that. The next question is, what is something you would like the world to know about you?
He said, please tell them that I'm smart, so not to have doubts. I'm feeling excited to promote spelling to the world.
Amazing. I love that. And you're already advocating for spelling in such an amazing, beautiful way. And yeah, I just know that just from your story, people will start to understand that non-speakers are smart. Like you said, you're smart. And it's important for people to know that, because unfortunately, a lot of people don't think that. And that is something we need to change. And yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Right. The next question is, what are your thoughts about the people who are trying to discredit spelling as a viable means of communication?
Okay, I think I might have mentioned this earlier, but he
you too.
he said a lot of people think we're not smart, but we are smart.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, and yeah, I'm hoping that if anybody doesn't know about spelling and they're listening to this, they're definitely know that. And I know that we're getting to a time where people are going, a lot more people will know this and understand it, and we won't have to say it over and over again for them to understand.
Yeah. The revolution's happening.
Yes, it is. All right, so the last question that I have is, please share any advice for parents who are thinking about spell to communicate with their child but are still on the fence.
So he said, start today, time is ticking. Care about presuming competence. Get started today. Letting them learn to spell will change their life.
Amazing. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Start today. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I totally agree. I have a friend of mine who has her son. He's been on the podcast, and he shared something. It's a long story, but he was talking about how he was comparing non-speakers who are waiting to find spelling, who don't have a voice, to people that are stuck under unlike an avalanche, like under the ice, under the snow, stuck and waiting to be rescued. And that just touched my heart in such a way that I did not expect. Like, I cried for hours and I couldn't stop just thinking and feeling their emotions. Like, the non-speakers who don't have, don't see that might happen for them anytime soon because their parents are not aware of it or don't have a way to find out about it. And like, we have to be the rescuers, right? Sharing is us being the rescue team that is going to help them, this news, get to their parents and for them to find their voices. So that just reminded me of your answer there. It's so beautiful and true and important. And thank you so much for that.
Another one I love that I think it was on your podcast not that long ago was Tyler Stoltz.
Yes.
And he said, it's okay to hope this time. And that just resonated so much with me because I think I see parents come in and they're hopefully optimistic or like cautiously optimistic. And, I think it's just that whole, you've gone through so much and so many therapies and so many protocols or supplements and diets and things that you just keep thinking like this will be the thing and this will work this time or we'll finally get some words and it doesn't happen. And spelling is the one thing I think that like I want to tell every parent, like, hope, don't give up hope for this. Like, keep hoping because it will happen and everyone can do it.
Yes, that's so true. Yes, I can totally relate to that. Yeah, it's okay to hope because you start hoping with all these and most of them don't work and it's like a waste, right? But this one is okay to
dig in and keep hoping.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for being willing to share your story together here today. I am so just in awe of everything that you guys are doing and thankful that you're sharing your story. It is helping a lot of people. And I cannot wait to see what else Chase is going to do. I can't wait for him to present to Congress. What?
Say all prayers for me.
Yes, I know you can do it.
This
You
is going to
both
be
are such an amazing team. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel so you can get notified whenever I post new episodes. Until next time.